Welcome to the 8th grade Math Homework Helper Series. Tonight's homework is PR1, Proportional Relationships. Start by taking a look at question number 3. Number 3 states there are about 17 calories in 3 medium-sized shelled peanuts. Joan ate 30 such peanuts. How many calories were in the peanuts she ate? For step 1, we need to write a rate to show how the quantities vary. And that's generally going to be this first sentence up here. Usually it's stated as a there are. So we have 17 calories in every 3 medium shelled peanuts. And we want to take those two pieces of information and put them as an equation. And we can set that up like that. From there, once we have this, we want to then write a proportion and solve for the missing quantity. So this is going to be part of our proportion, and the other part of our proportion is going to be the 30 that she ate, and the x is the unknown, the amount of calories that were in the amount of peanuts that she ate. Now, sometimes it can be confusing as to whether you put the 30 on the top or the x on the top, but the way you want to think about it, and the reason that I put calories and peanuts up here in the first place, is because this 17 represents calories, and the unknown represents calories. So the x goes with the same amount. So calories were on top. The x for the unknown amount of calories stays on top. The peanuts were on the bottom. So the amount of peanuts she ate stays on the bottom. And so if ever that got switched, these would get switched too. So once we have that, we then want to cross multiply. So we're going to be multiplying 3 times x and 17 times 30. And if we do that, that's going to get us 3x equals 510. And then from there we want to solve for x, so we need to eliminate the 3. And if we do that on one side, we have to do it on the other. And that's going to equal x equaling 170. So now we have the amount of calories that were in the 30 peanuts that Joan ate. The last step we need to do is to write a sentence that answers the equation, and that sentence could look something like this. Joan ate about 170 calories. Okay, let's take a look at question number 6 now. Number 6 says the scale on a map is 5 centimeters to 3.5 kilometers. How far apart are two towns if the distance on the map is 8 centimeters? So start again by writing a rate to show how the quantities vary. And even though it doesn't say there are, you could sort of rephrase it that way. There are 5 centimeters to 3.5 kilometers. So these two pieces of information are what we're going to use to write our rate. And since we are looking for kilometers in this case, because they're saying it's 8 centimeters, the kilometers is going to be our x. So as we move to step 2, which is going to be write the proportion and solve for the missing quantity, we know that the unknown amount is kilometers, so the x, given the way I have it set up here, is going to have to be on the bottom. So we have our 5 and 3.5, 8 centimeters on the map, an unknown amount of kilometers based on the 8 centimeters. And just like before, we're going to want to cross multiply. So it's going to give us a 5x equals 28. 8 times 3.5 is 28. We then want to isolate x, so we divide by 5 to remove it. What we do on one side, we do on the other, and that's going to get us x equals 5.6 kilometers. So now we take this information and put it back into a sentence that answers the question, and the two towns are 5.6 kilometers apart. Okay, the last question we're going to take a look at is question number 10. It says my family consumes 2 gallons of milk in 5 days. How much milk will my family consume in 365 days? Same as before, the first thing we want to do is write a rate to show how the quantities vary. So we have 2 gallons for every 5 days. So we have gallons on top, days on the bottom. If we come back up to the problem, we can figure out what it is the missing amount. We have 365 days, so gallons are the missing amount. So our x is going to be on top as we write the next step, which is the proportion. So again, we're going to multiply 2 times 365 and 5 times x. So we have 5x equals 730. We want to isolate x, so we divide by 5 and we divide by 5. And that's going to get us x equaling 146 gallons. And once we have that, we come in and we write a sentence. My family will consume 146 gallons of milk in 365 days. Okay, please use these questions that were just solved for you to help you to answer the additional problems in your homework tonight. Remember, the key to success in math is not only working hard, but working smart.